back channel to anybody that needs them, but they're one's a long list that was sent to me by text. The other one is a picture.
It's too bad we don't have like, um, a list of trustable and why they're trustable and their background of why they're trustable. A list of organizations like that. That would make me feel really more comfortable.
All right, we're live on Rumble. Morning Punchbowl. I'm hoping that the mulch fire in Houston works its way west and takes me out.
We finally got flowers on our trumpet vine and saw a hummingbird twice this weekend, you guys. I was so excited. I put a picture down in the bubble. Hummingbirds do not come around my house, but I'm so happy that I can be at a house where I see hummingbirds again. I was really excited. So, there's a little bit of good news right there after all of that. That's all I got, guys. Sorry.
So I wonder why they don't have like when there's charitable services like that, why they don't have references, you know? Like when you go to a restaurant, okay? Oh, I had a good, service and everything. Well, how come we don't have that for, like Red Cross or, the cancer donations and things like that? Because they're taken down, that's why. Anything negative, they're taken down. That's disgusting.
There's actually a lot of charity rating sites, and they do deep dives and compare charities to another. The ones that are top heavy, the ones that, what percentage they keep for running the organization and all that kind of stuff. I know I've utilized them before deciding which one that I wanted to give to. You can probably do that research yourself. But there are nonprofit sites that do go through and give you the background. They aggregate it and it stays current, because they just utilize ties to the current stuff. So it's actually pretty cool. Like a lot of people have asked this question, especially since we've had access to all this information and the phone in our hand, and people are kind of demanding that, and people took up that gauntlet and provided that. So um, I just found like 4 links myself to look and compare and contrast any kind of non nonprofit, charity, so on and so forth.
Okay, if anybody wants, I can read the text that I got from my girlfriend whose brother's up there. It's from the local union. Our union joined HGEA. Benefits and programs, August 10th. Aloha. Our hearts are heavy for all the ohana on Maui impacted by this week's destructive wildfires. It goes on that UPW and HGEA are partnering to provide shipments of non-perishable goods for wildfire relief, and we'd like to ask for your generous kokua of donations. We mahalo UPW State Director Kalani Werner for taking the lead in securing shipment containers to get these critical donations to the people of Maui. Collection dates and times, they provide them. Items needed, they go on, non-perishable, blah, blah, blah. There's a list. I can get it to anybody. UPW drop-off locations. It gives UPW office, 1426 North School Street, and Council for Hawaiian Advancement, 91-1270 Kinoki Street. In Kauai, they're taking donations at Rice Street in Hawaii, and then in Maui, you can drop off at 841 Kolu Street. For more information, there is upwhawaii.org. Maui Strong is so www.upwhawaii.org/Maui Strong. I'm sure we can ask them directly if they'll take cash donations in order to buy those perishable items on the island or on each of the islands that they referenced. And again, from those drop-off locations, they're putting them in containers and getting them over to Maui. I'm happy to send that to anybody.
Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, if you would send to me.
Well, can we post it in the bubble? Can it be posted in the bubble so I can look at it too? And
Oh, that's up to Angela.
I don't have a problem, but it's going to probably be too long to put there. It's a lot of words. I'll try to get it to Bishop, and we'll see what we can do to get it up there.
Go ahead, Al.
You know, I just have to say this. I mean, it's a pretty sad day when we have to question what the Red Cross is doing, right? I mean, I'm going to be 52 in December, and I know there's a lot of nefarious things that go on with different organizations and stuff like that. But look at throughout this country, where do people most donate their blood? That's to the Red Cross, right? And if we can't trust that they're doing the right thing, um, we're in a world to hurt. I mean, a lot of the people that work at the Red Cross are volunteers. They don't get paid. They do that because they want to give back to their communities and their country. So I think we could probably form some type of opinion about every single organization out there. But in our hearts, we have to trust that they're doing the right thing, you know? I mean, um, if we sat around and we questioned every single organization, we'd do absolutely nothing. Um, and that's not what needs to happen right now. Those people need help, and we need to be praying that they are getting some sort of help or some fashion of help that is going to actually help them rebuild um, and save lives, you know. I know, like I said, there's a lot of conspiracy out there and things like that, but I think the Red Cross is one of those organizations that you can pretty much stand behind, um, at least from the blood aspect. Okay. I don't know about the money and things like that. And if they're blocking actual Hawaiians from coming in to help their families and stuff like that, that's a pretty sad state of affairs. But if they are treating it as a crime scene, there's obviously more to the fires than what we know. I also was on a Twitter space yesterday where somebody was talking about that there's been over 1,000 people killed um, through these fires. I mean, I think it was 80 that's been reported on the news, but they're saying don't believe the news. It's actually more horrific than what people think, and they're not reporting the accurate information. And I can't confirm or deny that, but um, I wouldn't put it past them to be holding information like that. I mean, everybody saw the fires, and there were people jumping into the water and spending 8 to 10 hours in there just to get away from those fires. So imagine that, especially if you're not a strong swimmer. That's not an easy thing to do at all.
I think that it is our responsibility to question every single thing. I think we all went through so much, and if we don't question every single thing, what have we learned? Okay, these people are not trustable. Okay, it's very well documented. That isn't a conspiracy at all. That is a fact. And that is a hard fact that everybody needs to swallow. I mean, we cannot end anything if we aren't questioning people. It's okay to question people and get comfortable with it, because if we don't, it's just going to go downhill even quicker. Okay, I don't understand why people are so upset when people are questioning things. That is what we should be doing. And if COVID alone hasn't taught us that, I just don't know. I'm that is why, I mean, if people want any hope for the future, it is our responsibility to be questioning every organization, every politician, um, everything, each other.
Olive, are you real?
Right? Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like a negative Nancy, but come on, we need to get on the ball and we need to face the facts, and not, oh, conspiracy this and no, no, a lot of the conspiracies that were being said aren't a conspiracy anymore. So when people say it's a conspiracy, it's probably a fact. And you need to look more into it because there's more involved in it, you know. Um, but to ramble it off just to, oh, it's a conspiracy, but just to donate to this and that. No, no, that's not how it goes with me. I'm not gonna go with the flow that way. I'm not that easy. Will not cheer on any kind of organization or any politician because it backfired on me one time, and that's all it took for me, forever. And I will never, never be that person again.
Olive, I understand what you're saying, but I'm a military veteran, and I can tell you numerous times I've seen the Red Cross do fantastic things for our soldiers and other people. That's all I'm saying is keep a little bit of an open mind. If we shut down and we um, question everything, we'll do nothing, right? And as a Christian, all I'm saying is, try to find the goodness in what the organization has done and is doing. Um, the Red Cross is one of those staples that's been out there for a long, long time. And like I said, a lot of the people in that organization are volunteers. I can't see volunteers trying to defraud other people. Those are people that are volunteering their own time and their own efforts to try to help others out. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's not other, nefarious organizations out there at all. I'm just saying um, the Red Cross is one that is tried and true, and I've seen it in my own time. So, you know, and if there are facts out there, I mean, there's facts about everything, right? I mean, it's just if we become a society where we can't trust anyone, then I mean, you know, that's a sad state of affairs. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, it's just, we can't sit in a house and just question everything all the time because we'll do absolutely nothing. And these people need help and they need it fast. If they can't get the supplies and things like that, it's going to be more people that are dying every single day. And that's just a tragic state of affairs. So, um, you know, there has to be some type of action. And at that point, you have to actually trust that the boots on the ground are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yes, the volunteers are very, I mean, God bless them. I'm talking about the organization itself. Thank you.
Go ahead, Tap.
I, I think this is an important point about ensuring that our resources go to the correct organization. And with that said, focus on your local communities. Focus on giving money there. Focus on giving your time there. I'm in Texas. All right, there's wildfires out in Houston right now. There's kids that can't eat in my community. That's usually where my money goes. Hawaii, that's a part of the empire. My heart goes out to them. Ain't gonna get a single cent out of me. The reason is that as far as I'm concerned, it's wrong to continue to bail out other states that have natural disasters, be it tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, what have you. These are the risk of living in that area. Now, if there's an argument that we must inhabit certain areas and maintain a presence for national security, fine, so be it. Throw a military base, throw all dependents. We'll have a couple donut shops and a couple of dry cleaners pop up around it and call it a city. But beyond that, we need to stop bailing these people out, because the people that live in states that don't have these natural disasters already got regular life going on and they can barely keep their head above water. And we ain't got the resources to be taken from one taxpayer in another state and giving it to a taxpayer in another state because of the decisions they made where to live, when objectively the weather is better and so is the home. So, your home gets wiped out, that sucks, but it's not the federal government's to give. No state should receive more in percentage or by per capita basis income received from the federal government than they've put in or compared to any other state by comparison, by percentage compared to population. Otherwise, one state has more power in the union. Otherwise, those citizens of that city have exercised more power over their fellow taxpayer by collecting their wealth. And it's wrong and it's immoral. My heart goes out to them. But there's a lot of stuff in our local community we can focus on, whether it be our time or money as well. And I think that's the best where to put it. And if nothing else, I was told over our last meeting that I shouldn't be promoting stuff as much, our items, because it's not recorded, doesn't sound as good. But they didn't record anything over the weekend. So here we go. Check out the Punchbowl.space where you can check out our merch shops. There's two of them, one for Kevin, one for Jeff. You can check out our sponsor, funkfood.net. I'm not aware of those organizations, since I'm a part of them, doing anything bad with the money. We got Jeff Twitter Blue. If that's a bad thing because we support Elon, so be it. But you can check out and support on there. You can also check out the new page, and there's even a About Us page now that was added this weekend that shows you information about the team. So like and retweet the space, repost it. The Punch Bowl is not using your money for nefarious things. We don't have yacht money. We don't even have bass boat money. All right. So if you're concerned about where to put your money, give it to the Punch Bowl. As far as the Red Cross and all that, my buddy, one of my best friends in life, his dad had cancer, found out about it before we deployed the summer before. He's real broken up about it. Just goes anyways. His dad has stage 4 lung cancer. We get to Qatar. We're waiting there for a couple days. He gets distracted. He actually goes to Dairy Queen. This dude was just basically drinking every night after duty. And his dad's dying. So he starts getting a better mood. We get to Talil, Cobb Adder. That first night, gets the news that his dad died. So he had gone, all that out processing, stand around and wait leading up to deployment, get on the plane, go, Qatar, wait for a couple days, finally get in country. Dad's dead. Red Cross had him home in less than 24 hours back in Texas. Not a dime out of his pocket, not an inconvenience to him. I've had several other friends while I was in the military that the Red Cross helped, and people that I've never met in my life but know of that have been helped by them. So I'll say this: every organization is inefficient. Happens. You got to look at the spirit of thing. And here's the final thing, and this may not rub people right this morning. Apologies, Punchbowl. If you have not gone out and set up an organization, if you are not in charge of people, if you are not in a position of life where you have consistently take the risk and put your neck out there to lead, to start an organization, to be responsible for other people's lives, to be responsible for a budget of millions of dollars, should you be questioning others and how they conduct their business? And I'll leave it at that.
This is Angela. I just want to briefly let folks know I have been putting a series of messages in the bubble since I lost my blue check account to Twitter. I don't have the permission to put a lot of text in any one tweet, so I had to put a bunch of tweets. So I put one primary one, and all the continuations of that text are in tweets under that primary one, if that makes sense. So I hope you can find it.
Thanks. Ancient.
Hey, everybody. I am so grateful to be in this Twitter space. I've been gone from Twitter for like 6 weeks. I've been in the mountains doing something different, focusing on myself, loving myself, regenerating myself, and spending time away from Twitter. And I really do intend to advance your consciousness and, raise your awareness of what's really going on this planet. That is my intention. So when we're talking about money, when we're talking about the government, what I don't hear anybody saying is that the bankers own the government and all of humanity is enslaved to a monetary debt system that was attached to them to the individual through their birth certificates and a
Oh, I got to hang
no,
out in
no,
the
no,
punch
no,
bowl.
no, no. You
You got
can
to hang
just
out in the
hold
punch
on,
bowl because we
sir.
talk
If you
about
have
that every
any
day.
respect for yourself, you will wait.
Oh, I definitely do not respect myself. You got to come in the punch bowl more. You know I hate myself, but I see where you're coming from. But want to let you know, we talk about the bankers every day in the Punch Bowl Town Square, so you're in the right place.
Okay, well, good. Can I finish what I'm saying? Thank you. It
Oh my
it's
God, Angela, it's gonna be okay. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, Ancient. It's gonna be okay. Welcome to
everything
Twitter
is
Spaces.
exactly as it's supposed to be right now. What are you even referring to?
Oh, all this has happened before and will happen again.
So, what is really, really occurring all over the planet is humanity is being pressured to make and be responsible for the changes that have to occur on the earth. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it. You have to take control of your own self and be responsible for your own actions and where you put your energy and focus. And no one can force anybody to make different choices. No one can force anybody to have a different perspective. No one can force anybody to do diddly shit because that violates the true divine laws of nature. And you're not allowed to do that. It's literally impossible. So I don't know except to just let everybody know that there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of beings all over the earth that are already united and already coming together to correct this imbalance of financial slavery that humanity you know, has been forced upon them against their will. It's financial slavery. They pretend to have money. They pretend to be wealthy. They pretend to have it all. They don't. The true power is in the people, it's within you. There's nothing more powerful outside of the people of this world. You are it. You are the currency of Earth, not a dollar, not a digital coin. It's you. And as I said, I say these things with the intention to rise in your own awareness of how valuable you are, how powerful you are, and that it is up to you to take responsibility of yourself. And I'm just going to rest there. Thank you for giving me the microphone. It feels good to be back out there into the world and, speaking up for what is right, what is true within my own self. And I am so grateful that, we're coming together in the ways that we are, but I cannot like, I can't pressure it anymore to see the value within yourself and to see how beautiful and creative and powerful and wonderful you are as children of God and children of the universe.
I don't know about the children of God thing, but I am pretty special. I'm pretty powerful.
I'm a big deal.
We're supposed to network, so I won't say anything else.
I want to go back to this Red Cross discussion. So, yeah, I've heard that not all the money goes where it should. Maybe some people get paid a little more than they should, but at least where I'm at, if your house burns down, that's the only company that's coming to help you. Like, so my aunt's house burned down. They put her in a hotel. They paid for the hotel while she worked everything out with the insurance and all that. And then she got another house. But other than that, it was like, go to GoFundMe and ask your friends or something. Like, there isn't another company that's going to show up at your door if your house burns down. So there's kind of that.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Angela again. I've got another update that's coming in. If you've already read this, just stop me because I came in after you guys already started. Quote, I just got out of a meeting where I was informed by someone in the mayor's office about developments that are being kept from the public. Have you already heard this?
Why are you whispering?
Because my household is still asleep. My husband's on the overnight shift. Is it annoying? I'll stop.
It's definitely annoying. The doctor thing too. Angela's fine. I'm not going to call you doctor in Twitter Spaces.
Go ahead, Angela.
Okay, if it's too quiet, I can not read it. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, the whispering is annoying
Okay,
because I
fuck
have to struggle
off.
to
If
hear you.
somebody else wants to hear it, you don't have to be the one to tell me everything, okay?
But I'm kind of like putting the shit out on Rumble, and you're kind of annoying on the weekends too in Spaces. So I was trying to gently correct you, but now I'll do it in a more coarse way. So I'm putting shit out on Rumble right now, and I'm concerned that people are listening and they're struggling to hear you. So I was trying to do the gentle thing, like, "Hey, please speak up," but that didn't work. So it sucks for the show. So speak up, doctor.
I think it was a little too coarse, Tap.
I tried the proportional escalation.
No, I'm afraid in my timeline this morning that there are many people who are tempting me to pass off second, third, fourth, fifth hand information. And I kind of remembered James R. when this first happened. He was uncharacteristically serious, which was nice. It was nice to hear a different tone in his voice, right? Versus the sort of pirate radio guy. And I think his main point was don't donate, that the Hawaiians are going to care for each other and that much of the work is going to be done locally. They're so far away from us, right? And there's enough resource on the islands for them to help each other. And clearly, the further a problem is for you, the less you're going to be able to put your finger on what's actually happening, right? I think Tap made a good point. Like if you're fired up about, pardon me, if you're concerned about the fires in Hawaii, there's no reason not to feed a local homeless person in your area in service of that. Because if you're concerned about people suffering because they need help, then help someone. But imagine trying to get help your $5 all the way to Hawaii, what it takes to get that money there. I'm pretty sure James and many other voices I've heard have said it's going to happen locally. It'd be hard for us on the continent to make sure that we're giving in a way that's really going to help instead of just sort of grease wheels. But I think the main thing we want to do is not share information that's poorly sourced, right? There's I heard the words cadaver dogs enough on the weekends to realize like why this is such a story. And this morning, people in my timeline are just daring me to scare everybody I know with horror stories that I can't source well.
I think you put us all to sleep with your soothing voice, Samuel.
I was doing my best to not talk quietly and not talk. I'm worried now that I'm going to get admonished for not speaking properly, but I'm trying to stay right in that middle register.
But that is a thing that, some people do have those soothing voices that you go into their spaces just to, and all of a sudden you're bam, you're out like a light. That's a true thing for me. I love my little naps like that.
Bishop, your friend showed up finally, but he was blocked.
Who is that?
Shaggy, the NAFO guy. It's one of the ones the Punchbowl TM has been in talks with on the DMs. He gets the links to him. He's like, I'm busy. It's like you trolled a NAFO guy. You're like, come on, hang out for like 2 months, and he finally hangs out. You're like, no, door
What is
shut.
NAFO?
We don't speak kindly to your people in this space.
What exactly is NAFO?
What exactly is it? Oh, I dare not answer that. I would Google it.
North Atlantic Fellers Organization, I think. It's something absolutely bizarre. Kinzinger keeps it in his bio line.
It's keeping Russia at bay, is what it is.
That reminds me, I can't be the only one who saw the G-string bikini parties videos that came out that supposedly came out of Ukraine.
Yeah,
Those are
Tom
all over the
Luker
news.
is all over that shit.
We're, well, now I'm seeing someone say these are from Israel. They're not from what is there? Is there some good video and some bad video? And by good, I mean actually from Ukraine and not the quality of the swimsuits.
I've seen videos of Kiev that did involve swimsuits, and I've said this before. It looked like Rodeo Drive. Chicks are walking around in full dresses, enjoying their it just looked like Fifth Avenue or something. Like I was like, whoa, like it's really nice there. And this was in the
Yeah,
middle of
I know
everything.
I know someone who's currently considering traveling to Kiev. Kiev, pardon me, let me pronounce it a little bit more distinctly. Kiev. It's going to travel to Kiev
Ooh,
to
Russian
get
sympathizers.
yeah, we are. We're going to get fired. But this person I know is going to travel to Kiev to have a nose job.
Yeah, they're pretty
Why do
known for
they
that.
for plastic surgery?
Yeah,
They're well.
a-
Oh,
apparently the rhinoplasty in Kiev is so cheap and efficient. You can the flight over there doesn't even make it a bad idea.
What's up, Al?
Hey, Tap, I want to make sure I'm talking loud enough for Rumble and everything else. Nobody's ever accused me of not speaking loud enough, but is this good? Anyways, I'm just
Good to
joking.
go.
I couldn't hear you.
As a fellow patriot, you know where I'm going with that. I see Chad just popped up in the space, and I'd love to hear what he has to say. He was very, very active all weekend long. Great space the other day. I guess that was the first time he was actually trying that. But I also listened to your interview with the candidate for California on the Republican side. He's also a former veteran, and that was amazing. So um, I'm sure he has much more to add, as he always does. And everybody just have a wonderful day. Um, to Angela down there, if you could post your information in the purple pill, I would be more than happy to look at it. But it was very hard to hear you. I don't think Tap was trying to be mean, but for me, I have hearing aids, and I actually have to listen very closely to what people say, and when they're whispering, it is very hard to hear what they're trying to portray. So I will land my plane on that. Thank you.
What do you want? Thank you for the kind words, Al. I appreciate what you said. But what would you like my opinion on? I just got here. I literally took my morning piss and grabbed a coffee, so I slept in a bit today. Jen, don't say a word. But go ahead, Al. I don't know exactly what you'd like me to.
When I was young.
What you'd like me to say? I don't know what we're talking about. I'm sorry. I just got here.
No, whatever you would like to expound upon is fine. I was just mentioning that you had a bunch of spaces in the last few days. I know you've been doing the Iron Man spaces in X, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I get lots of requests for different spaces. I don't know if they like necessarily what I'm saying, but they like the differential. I've been chewed out a couple times this week in spaces. I was called White Man for a while. I think Bishop was there. Bishop, when was that? Friday?
Yeah, I think it's Friday afternoon.
That was probably one of the weirdest things I ever saw. Basically saying that, making grandiose statements about the medical tyranny that we have dealt with, in saying all vaccines and all medical interventions were in fact poison. They spoke to the etymology of the word pharmaceutical, which means poison, and I gave the reason for that. And some guy, can you dig it is his name, lost his ever loving black shit on me, and basically just kept calling me white man, and how I was racist for using the word grandiose. That was a new word that was racist. I wasn't familiar with. And I kept my cool, didn't I, Bishop?
That's what won it. Just keeping your composure and not coming back and retaliating with fillings.
It was really disgusting, frankly. He said that he was a scholar, he was this, and then I said, well, isn't it? It's pretty well listed in pharmacology that the idea of a compound is originally that of a scholar that comes up with the theory, and then it goes into production. So I said, why am I supposed to believe you as a scholar, but I'm not supposed to believe these people in the medical field as a scholar? And he lost his shit and started calling me names, and I don't know. But thanks, Al. I try to go out there and get perspective, but right now there's so much weird going on. I feel like I'm spending more time telling people, does it matter if lasers actually took out Hawaii? I guess there's space lasers or energy stuff, and that's cool. I mean, but I just don't know why we can't talk about how we can help the people. And I feel like, if a spaceship, an Oprah, it's Oprah's spaceship, by the way. If Oprah's spaceship is shooting lasers into Lahaina so she can get more land, then I just want to see it. I like that. Does anybody else want to see Oprah's spaceship? I do. And is it ironic she's passing out my pillows to all the people that are in the homes, or that are living in like gyms and shit? She's out there passing out my pillows. I just thought that was irony too. There's a lot of irony and hypocrisy in our world right now that I really puts things in perspectives and kind of curbs the monster inside me. And I think it's important that everybody finds those hypocritical statements and irony in the crazy that is going on in our world. But I Trump's getting his fourth indictment this week. That's exciting. DeSantis is still circling the drain, and I don't really understand. I'll be real honest with you. My show today at 2, I got nothing. I got a little young dude that followed Gavin Newsom around and he kind of went viral calling Gavin Newsom out. Yeah, I've had him twice now, and apparently he has a really important job of Grubhub or something, because he said that he can't. He got called in. He's not going to be able to be on my show today. So and you're right, Al. We have figured out how to integrate spaces into our show. So I may just really put that on display today and open up my show space, 20 minutes early, and then get people in there, and then let's see what. I hate Mondays because it's a media dump. So I would rather do it with y'all and have everybody come into the space and talk about what's going on than me put together a show with different. I'll put assets up so that it can start the conversation. But I think I'm going to make Mondays into what you guys all think through the weekend, since we have the ability now to make a space and bring you guys into the show. So what do you guys think about that? That's kind of where I'm going with it today.
All for it. I'll be there.
I was in that space too with Bishop and Chad, and the stuff that was being talked about was absolutely insane. Some of those people, I think they sit on their brains. Just my personal opinion. I see Albert's got his hand up. I'd love to hear what he has to say too.
Morning, Albert. How's it going, man?
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's going pretty good. How about everybody there? Yeah, as far as I'm just going to pick up where Chad left off. I'm tired of hearing about that UFO laser beam thing. There's actually science behind energetic columns, radioactive columns. Chernobyl was a good example of it. Normally, you don't see them; they're naturally occurring because they're in the infrared spectrum. So, but by the orange reddish hue that's given off of that, that's more proof of energetic columns. And that one, depending if it's diffused at the top or the bottom, tells you which way it's going. So sometimes in those fires, under the right conditions, you could see those red-shifted energetic columns, and they're a real thing. It's not a spaceship laser. It just means there was enough heat generated to shift the spectrum over to the visible. So that's all that is, and that does happen. Normally, we see them as bursts in the atmosphere. There's atmospheric columns, there's ground-based columns, and there's a few interactions that cause that. So it is a real thing, but it's not a spaceship laser beam. And I posted that on my feed. You can go down there and see. But excitingly, I'm in a couple hours. I'm leaving for Iowa for the Iowa State Fair, and I got stops coming in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Iowa, and then a separate track on the way back that's more southerly.
That's awesome. Good to hear, man.
Yep, and we're also setting up live streams for fundraising as I'm going down there, so I can set up a second leg to go down south again, and then shift over towards Texas that way from Florida. So I'll hit again Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, North, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and then the Mississippi, and Louisiana, and Texas.
Wow, you're hitting all the important states, every single one of them but mine. No, I don't blame you. New York sucks.
Well, I'll have to do a separate fund drive for that, so I can get to those places. So, because I do want to get up to New Hampshire again. I was up there last year because I know people up there. So, yeah, exciting. And Punchbowl, if you send me an email, I'll send you the pin link for the flyer that we're using, because we're working with Magamish and Tuna and a few other organizations, Vaccine Ninja and things like that. So we're going to give people voices there in those places as well.
Sounds pretty cool. Tap, what do you got for us?
I like to hear about the directed energy weapons. I like to see that stuff in my timeline. When I first came onto Twitter last year, there was a lot of talk about misinformation. I was like, that's probably inaccurate. And then I get on Twitter and I see that not only is there misinformation, but a lot of it's from my own people. And so every time I see the directed energy weapon stuff or anything like that, it lets me know who to mute. And it also lets me know who not to give any basically if they start talking, I'm immediately like, oh, this was so and so person. Yeah, whatever they're saying right now, I'm just going to go in and validate their argument entirely. And so it helps me filter out people I don't want to hear from. And it also confirms to me that we absolutely do need visibility filtering on these platforms. And as long as, companies have to take on the burden of the American ignorance that I guess comes out of the public education system, we should protect social media companies from the American people. And that includes protecting them from legal liability because the Americans are dumb.
But I know a guy who knows a guy who saw it on social media, so it's got to be true.
I stand corrected.
Albert, you're first, buddy.
Yeah, just what it's called. And these events that I'm talking about, they're measurable. In fact, they're so measurable that they actually have a tool. It's called a frigometer, a frigiometer, and it measures upward radiation and downward radiation, and also radiation bursts for both land to air and air to ground.
There's also photo editing, and there's something called light pillars, which I've witnessed myself, and it is the trippiest thing you'll ever see. I went out, it was like 3 a.m. I'm standing out front. I used to smoke cigarettes back then. I'm having a cigarette, and I look in the sky, and there are 4 perfectly straight columns of light, and there's no source for the light. And I'm like, what in the hell is this? I spent the next half hour researching what that shit was. It was pretty damn fascinating. But yeah, there's cool stuff that happens. We all saw the old edited pyramid photos that showed the same exact types of things. And from what's going around, the people that actually know about any of that DEW type stuff, they're invisible anyways, if they exist. I think I got Samuel next. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead, Albert.
yeah, they're it's rare to see them, but every now and then, under the right atmospheric conditions, they are visible to the eyeball. It's just that they're rare, and if it wasn't such a cataclysmic thing, it would be cool to see. But it's just horrible. It just happened to happen there, and people are falsely connecting dots that don't exist. It just happened to be that the fire itself created enough thermal radioactive heat in order to make that column visible. And that's really the simple science of it.
I hear you. Samuel, what you got for us?
I'm going to push back on Tap a little bit, just for fun, and then sort of leave him with a question that maybe is for all of us. Americans are no more unintelligent than the rest of the world. A lot of us suffer because you've heard, oh, Finland's schools are amazing and we're so far behind Japan, but we're the only nation on the earth that chooses to democratically educate its populace, like the whole populace, right? Even in Europe, they pick and choose. Jeff G can talk about this if he were here. There he is, right? How in Germany, right, like only the cream of the crop gets educated all the way, and that we might even be one of them. Like our average IQ is probably higher than most nations. I might guess that, and that people are getting smarter. But to Tap's point, most people do have close to room temperature IQ, and that's troublesome. But I wonder if we want to follow a path like Tap suggested, which is I just mute things when I find their information unreliable, and mute is awesome because you're not blocking people. Or do we want a platform to mute for us? It seems like we should just keep teaching people, well, here's you mute things that you think are unreliable, but never ask somebody to cut off information from you because you should be smart enough to deal with it, and that we're going to have to keep painfully sort of educating. I feel like even Tap's responsibility is to tell those people he's muting, hey, you're sharing unreliable information, quit doing it.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't know. The problem is people are so fear and anxiety driven that they're susceptible to panic. So some of this misinformation, you know, it could, on a large scale, it could be bad. Like when Hawaii's air raid sirens went off last year, or 6 months ago, whatever that was, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, there's an invasion," blah blah blah. So there is some sort of panic that can be set in if the wrong person. So like if Elon Musk says to worry about something, that could cause extreme panic. So I do believe in some censorship, but we are in America, so to me it's limited to like, sick stuff. Things that could hurt people, things that are disgusting, vulgar, the usual typical stuff that we can't stand. Mike T, what's up, man?
Yeah, so it's just come down to something like community notes needs to, I think, be a little easier to get things community noted so that it's a warning that this may be disinformation, but it's not a muting or a complete blackout of the stuff. But to get to the space laser thing, I mean, it's 6 degrees of separation with all these relations of who owns what property and what could likely be just as likely as a space laser is a discarded cigarette butt into a dry tinderbox with high winds. I mean, that's real simple. And the idea of these space lasers, I happen to know a little bit about the directed energy laser weapon that DARPA and Lockheed developed, and it takes an entire airliner to power this freaking thing. It's not something we're sticking on the tip of one of Elon Musk's rockets and sending into outer space. And that's just simple physics that anyone can understand. If you need a 737 sized aircraft to power one laser able to take out a gun on a ship, what are you going to need to get it into outer space? It's just, apply some common sense, people. It's real simple.
What do you got for SPO Texan?
Sorry, guys, I got to take a call. I'll try again in a minute.
So we just spent, I think I was keeping track, 11 minutes talking about a laser. That's my point. Waste of time.
Dude, we spent the entire show today pretty much talking about that.
Okay, so 11 minutes added to the beginning of the show. So there you go. And my point to it is I get it, but it just seems like Twitter's just a big speculation. And if you don't agree with my speculation, you're a fucking asshole. There's this Punisher who has followed me and whatnot, and I'm sitting and he's out there. If you don't believe the laser, you're a fucking retard. And I'm like, so just because I disagree or I can push back, and I push back in their room all the time, and they lose their fucking shit. Like they just lose their mind. And the thing to me is, if you are about being in a space and being about debate, now if you have factual information, but see, that's where I get lost, is because it's factual information that they believe to be factual. Factual information is actually factual. So it's somehow we have twisted that into something that's unrecognizable anymore, and it just blows my ever loving mind that you can sit out there and post all day, call everybody a fucking idiot, and if that's your way of making people agree with you, then are they, or are they just appeasing you because you're obviously a triggered cuck? I don't know.
Well, hey, James R does both. He calls everybody a freaking idiot and he has facts. So I can respect that. And he said that people literally saw power lines make contact and start the fire. Just at least one of them. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, and James is also comedic, so there's that. But I went into the Punisher room where they all queue it up and shit, and I'm trying to figure out the psychology of it. And I sat there and if you don't believe that this and this and this, they start reading patents. Like, if you read me a patent to a weapon, am I supposed to be like, well, shit, he knows what he's talking about? That's what I've really noticed about the non or Q or whatever. They read weird, obscure patents and flow charts and shit, and it's just saying, well, I just gave you all this proof. Why didn't you understand? And I'm like, because it doesn't live in reality to the point where you can show me that. There are patents out there to theories, that they're still trying to put together. It just really drives me nuts that they throw out all this nomenclature, they prove none of that nomenclature, and then they call you an asshole if you push back. This is the part that just makes me sick, and I'm not and I don't know what to do about it, because I go in these rooms and I just want to start planting people. I just like trees.
You back with us, Tex?
Greetings and salutations. Yeah, interesting space this morning, laser beams and all that sort of thing. But you were talking about mass panic. You know, if Elon Musk says something, you know, everybody's going to bite, ears going to go up because he's prominent. He's kind of in the know. He spends more money on scientific research than most of us going to make in a lifetime. So it might have some credence. But on the same token, is it a lot of these people are just like the dumbass who hollers shark on the beach and there are no sharks out there. Well, you can arrest that dude for, you know, creating mass panic. So we ought to arrest Fauci for doing that, you know. But it just cracks me up getting to some of these spaces and there is such an absence of logic. I mean, it's just not there. I mean, and that just makes you draw back. Are you effing serious? Are you stupid or something? Are you actually hearing what you're saying? And just like these flat earthers and stuff like that, I got on a space just because I was bored and I wanted to listen. And these guys and their theories about the earth is flat. And I just brought up one case. I said, well, are we in a bowl then? What's that supposed to mean? Well, wouldn't the water kind of fall off the edge of the earth if it was flat? Well, and they couldn't answer me. Like I said, there's just no logic, man. It's an absence of logic, and people just wrap their head around it. And I guess you could almost say it kind of becomes a minute religion in somebody's head that, by gosh, this is what I believe. By gosh, this is what's it, and that's it. Period. I have no room for any kind of logical intervention here that makes any sense that can actually rationalize what I'm saying. I don't need rationality. I just need belief. And don't believe that, look at the Democrats.
Albert?
Logic is racist.
You can go ahead, Albert.
Yeah, I just want to say, because I have to get going, but I wish Joe Biden would get off his vacation ass and he could send a Gator Navy. He could send an amphib over there to help with transport and food and supplies and help get people off the island, and also send one of the Mercy ships over there so people who need to stay can stay and get food and medical attention and stop. And the simplest solutions there can begin to help, and it's just not happening.
One of the largest Navy bases in our, am I wrong? That Pearl Harbor is still an enormous naval base, right?
Yes.
So it seems like here's what's troubling me. I'll do this real quick because I feel bad about the hands, but like PO'd flat earthers are fun. Never mess with them unless you just want to have fun. Most of them are just having a hoot. Something that troubles me about the information flow out of Hawaii, and my wife just sort of pointed this out to me, is all of the wild talk really, as much as we might want to say, well, it's because people are stupid, I'm afraid it's that they have an inherent distrust of, the main information flow. And so people are grabbing wildly at information because they refuse to accept the main flow of information. And that maybe the more we focus on that, instead of sort of like being mad at people because they believe stupid things, continue to focus on the fact that we should live in a world where we have information outlets that all of us can trust and we don't have to question them the way we've been questioning even charities this morning, right? Which is there's the sad story behind this conversation.
You know, it's near here local, the Red Cross. Somebody said earlier about, if there's a fire in around Texas, at least in my little geographic area, I'm a volunteer firefighter paramedic, and one of the things I do as the third assistant chief is uh, I will make contact with a local volunteer, and they will come out there. They will give hotel vouchers, that sort of thing, non-perishable foods to take with them to the motel, and in our geography, everybody pretty much knows everybody. If you don't know their name, you know of them. So that puts a personal side to it. But 90%, I looked it up when all that conversation was going on, but roughly 90% of every dollar that is donated to the Red Cross actually gets used towards victims and education, CPR, all that kind of stuff. Now, pardon me, the administrative cost uh, to get the materials for CPR, all the little brochures and pamphlets and quick glance and all that kind of stuff. Well, Unfortunately, that stuff costs money. You're not going to get printing people to, give you that sort of thing. But yeah, there are administrative costs. But the fact that the leader of the Red Cross makes an excess of $650,000 a year, I mean, that's somewhat excessive. I mean, but yeah, I mean, they do a pretty good job. But like me, I will not donate on the political side. I won't donate to Republican Party. I will donate to an individual. And it's been a couple of years since I've donated to an individual because it's like every time I donate to a political campaign, I end up getting disappointed at the outcome. So it's like, wow, boy, did I screw up. But hindsight's 2020 in every case.
Mike T, have at it, bud.
Yeah, I was gonna go into a story about my neighbor Sam who has a dog who talked to a cat that knows Oprah's cat, and they said that there was something to do with this island in Japan with all the cats on it, and they wanted a larger area, so they figured that they could use Oprah's space laser to do it. But no, to get to Samuel's point, it's exactly what he asked, and that is no one trusts the information anymore. And now everyone's questioning it down to every minute detail instead of the general validity or the general sense of what may be true or what won't be true. Because we were all asleep at the wheel while the media and other people fed us this diet of pablum that we couldn't trust. So now no one trusts anything, and that is kind of a dangerous spot that we're in, I think.
Whenever you watch the news and actually heard good news, I mean, their job is to freak us out. Their job is to keep us on edge. You're not going to hear about, oh yeah, we rescued some horses and stuff like that. We found were starving to death, or oh, guess what? St. Jude's success rate in treating cancer is at 85%. I mean, they're going to tell you, oh, all the bad stuff, and I mean, think about it. Their idea is to get viewership, and they're not concerned with the actual content of the news. They're just concerned with how many advertisers they can get. Bottom line.
Yeah, it's fear and drama porn, that's all it is. And it comes down to, you look at who pays for the advertising on any particular news station or media outlet, and from there you pretty much can figure out what the narrative is. And it's disgusting, but at the same time, I do believe it's our fault as a people that we have allowed them to spout this crap for so long, that and not asked for the good stories, the feel good stories. And I don't necessarily mean just feel good stories, stories that are just truly good. And we all want to see the car wreck. I mean, let's face it, or the train wreck, or whatever you call it. And maybe if we start de-amplifying that and amplifying the good stuff. I mean, look at what has come about in the past few days with the video of the song "Rich Men North of Richmond." I mean, I'm hearing debates now as to, is this guy a red state guy, a blue state guy? Is he a conservative? Is he a centrist or what? We're all trying
Mike T,
to box.
Mike T, that guy, we should just, can we have it out about that guy real quick? Because what the hell is he on about? Rich men north of Richmond? Like, it's not good songwriting. And B, you live north of Richmond. Like, what the hell does north of Richmond have to do with anything?
Well, I think if you break it down to where he's from, and that's all I could do because I don't.
Talking about DC.
Yeah, I don't know the guy, but I assume from the part of Virginia that he's from, that he's referring to DC and just the whole mess that's in DC. I assume that. I don't take offense to it being north of the Mason-Dixon line in any way because there's rich people everywhere. But I think he's talking specifically about politicians, the K Street people, lobbyists, the wealthy elitists that have bought influence in DC. I think that's what he's referring to. And lyrically, maybe it's not the best, but I think it just strike a a chord with everybody who looks at that DC mess. But my argument is we did get the government that we deserve by what we voted for and what we allowed to happen.
And its message is 302,000 followers at this moment. And that's what? In a weekend?
Yeah, and it to me, I look at things because musically, I'm a lyric guy, so I looked at it, listen to the lyrics, and I get what he's saying. He's talking about the in a sense that DC Beltway. I mean, Samuel, what the Beltway is like. Once you get inside of that, the striking thing is, I watched a guy from Tibet walking on his ankles trying to get money. And then I drove a mile, and it was some of the richest, snobbiest people at Starbucks that I could imagine. And they were all involved in the government somehow. And I think that's what he's referring to.
You went to Starbucks? Are you serious?
I went to Starbucks, like right across from the Vietnam Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, that area, and I could not believe the amount of just, I don't know, it was disgusting to me. It was more perverse and turned my stomach more than the idea that there was a guy just a few miles back walking on his ankles trying to raise money to live.
Man, if I was homeless, I wouldn't even go through their trash dumpster, man. That, oh, goodness gracious,
Get on in there, Tap.
Thank you. We got about half an hour left in the show. About 15 till it'll be time to start cleaning up. I wanted to offer 3 different points, and we can get back to the directed energy weapons and the states that are burning down. It's National Code Talkers Day. While code talkers were instrumental during World War II, the United States military used Native American language in their code messages. During World War II, Choctaw tribes' language was called upon to relate coded messages. One member integral in creating military code was Philip Johnston. While he was not Navajo, Johnston did speak the language fluently. He also recruited the native speakers necessary to the code talkers' success. Initially, there were 29 code talkers, and today it's good to reflect on what they were able to do. Russia's doing something very similar right now, where they're using people with different dialects, different languages to confuse communications out on the battlefield. There is also a very good movie out there about it as well. I think it was Wind Talkers. It's also National World Lizard Day. So every year on August 14th, World Lizard Day celebrates a specific type of reptile. The day also encourages us to show appreciation for lizards and to learn more about them. And then finally, it's National Creamsicle Day. So National Creamsicle Day is on August 14th and celebrates the creamy citrus dessert on a stick during the height of summer. What a better way to enjoy refreshment than with a creamsicle. All right, like and repost the space. Check out the merch shop. Check out the punchbowl.space. And I'll let you all get back to destroying each other. Knives out, people.
Isn't your cat named Creamsicle?
Yep.
So is Creamsicle okay?
Yeah, she's good to go. She's got a box of creamsicles out there in the garage, and she's watching her favorite 10-hour loop of mice playing on the TV.
Living the dream. I like it.
She also took a bottle of scotch that I had in the pantry. I was a little pissed off about it, but I'm not getting close enough to take it away from her.
Fair.
I just don't like it. Fine if she wants to drink scotch. I just don't get scotch and like ice cream. It doesn't pair well to me.
She's a cat. She's got that weird bumpy shit on her tongue. And I would like to go into the idea that today's National Lizard Day. Is it ironic that the spaceships are shooting lasers at Hawaii and lizard men were seen in Bishopville, South Carolina? And today's National Lizard Day. Are we about to have our lizard overlords come out of their proverbial caves? Have we determined what caliber takes them down? That's all I need to know.
Use gamma radiation weapons, and we turn them into the Hulk, and we set them free on our enemies.
I have a feeling we'll know the reptile overlords are here when our colonization is complete. I don't think this. I think this is just more human fuckery.
Tap, before you give your cat any more scotch, you need to ask it what it knows about Oprah's cat and the directed energy weapons in Hawaii.
Mike, stop, or I'm going to nuke Connecticut. I cannot stand Connecticut.
We have all the defensive weaponry you could imagine here.
You make it all there. Dude, the rest of the country is like 1,000 little Kentuckys or Connecticut's. I mean, Kentucky's like 5 Connecticut's. Texas has got a whole bunch of stuff, man. Don't be taking credit for all the arsenal, my friend.
When I take over the United States and establish a new American empire, I'm not even gonna fuck with Connecticut. I'm gonna leave Connecticut there. That's gonna be my ultimate psyop. Y'all gonna be like, "Aren't you gonna invade us?" I'm like, "No, I'll put all my like shock troops all around the border, and I'll be like just leaving y'all alone, and let you continue and doing Connecticut things. I'm not going in there. I'm not wasting troops on it." Like it'll be like 20 years later, and they're like, "Okay, Emperor Tap for Nerd, Connecticut still has not been pacified." And I'll be like, and it won't be. Those people are weird. I kind of like Mike T. And they'll be like, Mike T passed away years ago. I'll be like, well, there's other people there that I know. And they'll be like, fine. So all those people have passed away. I'm like, they just talk a lot. They just talk a lot. I'm just concerned about sending troops in
We're
there.
gonna group you up with New York City and Delaware and call it New Connecticut.
I love it.
I'll make Mike T governor of Connecticut. It'll be like the only area that's not affected by my empire. It'll just be something there that just messes with the citizens. Mike T will be on like TV in Connecticut talking about how everyone has to go learn how to work on helicopter engines in Connecticut. And be like, what do you think about that, Emperor Tap for Nerd? I'll be like, Mike T knows what's right for the people of Connecticut. I don't know how many helicopters they have there, but if he feels that's right, I trust him.
We've got subs, though.
Mike, are you legitimately calling out Connecticut against the rest of this country?
No.
I mean, do you really want South Kakalaki rolling up into Connecticut?
Yes, I do, because I want them to take out a certain portion of the population that, yeah.
No. Rednecks. We don't have concepts of certain. We just take it all.
But what if I flew my Confederate flag and a white flag at the same time? Would you leave me be?
Dude, I'd knock on your house and talk to you, be like, they lost, right? Like,
Yep.
there's a way better flag, and it's the American flag or your state flag.
The Confederate flag is a part of history, but it's not something that's overtly touted, except under the guise of specific family in the Southern Confederate families. Really, it's not like Confederate flags everywhere, but it is the Confederate South. So, they hold their history just like you guys hold. I don't know, what do you hold up there? Each other?
Rainbow
Nutmegs.
flags.
They hold nutmegs.
Other men.
I
There you
told
go.
other men, no. See, you've got me completely confused with being someone who accepted Connecticut. I haven't.
But you live there. I didn't accept Illinois and I moved.
Yeah, and I'm in the process of trying to move.
Well, then you're that guy until you move. You don't get to live in between.
Mike T, you're missing it. Right now. You have 2, potentially 3 Southerners attacking your northern state. What are you going to do about it, Mike T?
Well, and here's the thing, Bishop. The South doesn't have to do anything. Because we got, was it freaking Vermont or New Hampshire that's like the freedom state? Like, I'd be way more worried about them coming down and taking out Connecticut if something happens versus South. It will take us longer. Like, I think those freedom folks are just looking at Connecticut like, looks like a snack.
Yeah.
looks like we can roll south and pick up some free arms.
New Hampshire is the live free or die state, but the problem is they don't have any taxation, so they don't really have the state might that they would need to take us over. And you know what? A lot of them, they talk a big story, but when you go up there, they're I saw people with masks on up there, so they're really not truly live free or die.
Plus, they're too close to Canada. They have that. We're mean when we play hockey, but other than that, we're like, "How you doing, eh?"
Yeah,
Mike T, you just say we had Ulysses S. Grant and end it. That's it.
well, wasn't U.S. Grant really from like Samuels area, right? Like Arlington, Virginia, and all that. Wasn't that where he was based? Let's just face it. We wrote the frickin' Constitution.
Connecticut didn't write the Constitution.
We
You
had to
stole that shit from John Locke.
and the first state to ratify it.
Wait, y'all believe in the Constitution?
Wait,
Okay, this
Delaware
conspiracy
was the
theory is
first.
getting out of hand.
Hang on. Delaware
Wait
was
a
the
minute.
first state to ratify the Constitution, dang it.
We were the first state to have our own constitution that's very simple.
Mike, you can't keep moving the goalpost.
That's why we're called the Constitution State, for Christ's sake.
I thought you were called the Nutmeg State.
No, the Nutmeg State is just an alternate, but it's really the Constitution. Says on your license plates, God damn it.
Ulysses was
He's
from
getting
Ohio.
recruits. He's
Born
getting
in
recruits.
Ohio.
Rose is coming up as backup for Connecticut.
Yeah, the
Also,
And
nutmeggers
Mike,
stick together.
Am I?
you
Ulysses
said,
was
Mike,
a
you
cool
said,
name.
God damn it. That's what it says on our license plate. In God we trust. So that's why we don't like Connecticut, because you flippantly throw Jesus and God around in blasphemy. On my license plate, it says, in God we trust. You throw it around like, God damn it. Now, see, that's why we, below the Mason-Dixon line, take Jesus up there and whoop your ass.
Am I going to have to get all Aaron on everybody and whip out some scooter pies and shit?
They are moon
I
pies.
think they're moon pies, Mike.
It was
No,
my comment.
we can call them scooter pies also.
See, you even have to
What the?
change the name of shit because your state sucks.
Wait a minute. Before we go any further, Mike, you're telling me that if I go into like a corner store, a bodega in Connecticut, and say, I want a scooter pie, they're going to sell me something?
Yes, they will, and it'll be just like a moon pie, but it'll say scooter pie on the box.
This is
All right.
clear evidence Connecticut has to go.
I'm looking at this map for my new empire. I'm going to go ahead and make Connecticut a part of Massachusetts. Same thing with Rhode Island. I'm also going to take the M off of Massachusetts. And then it looks like there's this area called New York sticking out. Looks like an island. I'm going to flood that shit. That looks weird. That's sticking out there. So I'm going to take care of that part of the Northeast.
That's Long Island, and yeah, you could sink it. We really don't care here in Connecticut.
Bigger harbor.
Gone.
Well, that would actually make my property only a quarter mile from the Atlantic Ocean instead of stinking Long Island Sound, the toilet pole of the Northeast.
My license plate says Texas, the Lone Star State, along with the number, and that's it. That's because we're pretty much out-armed all the other states combined.
I think mine's the Liberty State, but it really should say that we're going to molest your bank account.
And PO by population, you have more guns, yes, but per resident, South Carolina is number one in the country for how many guns each individual has. Interesting statistic. I didn't know that either. The GOA told me that.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long that lasts. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't like 40% of the Marine Corps Texas boys and girls? I mean, that's my son's in the Army, and he told me that he thought that number was pretty close, just based on his connections with the military. That's pretty wild.
Southerners really like to serve.
Yeah, but there's no way 40% of the Marine Corps is from Texas.
No.
They come from all over. I think they even kind of they recruit sort of regionally.
Some sort of argument from the left about, of course, it's from red states because they have less opportunities than blue states, and the military is the opportunity to go and change your socioeconomic situation. So, of course, they're from Texas because Texas sucks. Now, do I actually believe that? No, but that would be the blue-haired argument, I believe.
Well, their opinion to me just like water on a duck, just rolls right off because I know better. And tell you what, it's easy to do that online, but how about come to my house and sit at my porch and tell me all that, and we'll see how Billy Joe badass most folks are. That's what's hilarious.
Well, that's a good point.
John Cartillo offered to fly me to Fort Lauderdale to beat his ass in his front yard.
Why does discussion of such things result in the need to have physical altercation?
because that's what people with dicks do. Man shit.
It's called politics by other means. Is what it amounts to. That's all war is, if you think about it.
Thank you, Rose. I saw that.
We have to maintain a culture where we encourage discourse without violence. There's some things you get your ass kicked for saying, but just because someone disagrees with you or has a different view on the course of government doesn't mean you lead to a fight.
True that, but I have this nasty knack to get on people's nerves, and for the most part, 90% of the conflicts I've been in, they threw the first punch, and because I could draw it out of you. If you're going to go there, I'll draw it out of you, and then it's on. So, but
Wait
that's
a
a
minute,
manly
PO.
thing.
PO, by your logic, you go around annoying people until they swing at you.
Well, not purposely. It's just on a conversational basis, disagreement, that sort of thing. Or sometimes it's financial. Sometimes it's they insulted my bride. Or I'll have my dog in town and go to the feed store or something like that. And I had this guy trying to swipe the dog out of the back of my damn truck, you know. And of course, my dog's raising nine kind of hills, which made my ear perk up. What the hell's going on? So I go outside. He says, "This your dog?" Uh-huh. He bit me. Show me. Well, he couldn't show me because my dog ain't going to let you get anywhere near his ass. But before it was all over with, he was a Hispanic guy, and he was like 2 inches from my face. I'm of German descent, so I buried my forehead in the bridge of his nose, and he couldn't see through the tears. So that was pretty much it was over with. But called the cops and all that kind of stuff, and well, he was antagonizing my dog. I went out there, put an end to it. He got in my face, so I was justified. But you know, it's man, life's too short for that shit. Just leave me the hell alone, and everybody be happy. Life's too
Let's be
short.
serious. The guys from Florida, Chad would show up and there'd be 4 used mattresses in the front lawn. They'd try and have a wrestling match with him or something.
You can put whatever you want in the lawn, but I'm still planting his ass in the ground.
Okay, so I have to jump in with the Connecticut thing.
Wow.
Connecticut sucks,
Yeah,
Rose. Don't start.
I'm here, Mike T. I'm here to kind of support you a little bit, Mike. So Connecticut, for all of you that make fun of us, it should be a warning to the rest of the world of what could happen. Okay, so we used to be pretty strong republic a while back, and then we were taken over. And although a lot of you like to tease us right now, there's many of your states right now that are in jeopardy. You strong red states that right now are being taken over by a lot of your liberal cities, which is what happened to us with a small population. So, as you're laughing about us, just watch your own back because it happened in your own ground, okay? And I am in an enclave that is more conservative. I do have a lot of that. Mike T himself is in a totally liberal city. I don't know why he stays there. But I did find a conservative enclave into my state. But the rest of you, let Connecticut be a warning, a red flag to you. Stay on guard.
Hell yeah, Rose.
Well, that's why we want to surround it and not let it manifest anymore into more stupid.
We're just leaving California out of this whole
Oh,
conversation, and poor Connecticut gets the brunt. You're just like the East Coast California. It's not that bad, just a little smaller.
I want to make a quick clarification. My concern, like I get that there are certain words that get your ass kicked, but I do think many Americans, and Twitter is an example of this, you start having a debate, people's emotions get into it, and they do start to get carried away. Their voice starts to raise, they get closer. And I've had the debates in public, even at city council, planning and zoning, where it starts getting to the point where they're getting worked up and they want to make it physical. And I just think there's proportionality. And I don't know if it's machismo, if it's just a thing down here in South Texas, but it's something I encounter often. And to me, I get wanting to defend your pride and whatnot. But if you're having an argument and you lose in the debate and you resort to violence or you want to fight at that point, that to me is some beta shit. Because I'll defend myself. I'll probably kick your ass, even though I won't be able to walk the next day because I got back problems. But I can do it once. But if you lose the argument and your result or your word or your next thought is I need to fight you, you're not in control of your emotions. And to be clear, when I say this, I ain't talking about PO'd or anyone in the room. I'm trying to speak to something I see more often. I think many people, and it's probably not just Americans, many people get too emotional about it and they do try to go for violence. And whenever you do that, you got to be willing to take it all the way. So I try to avoid that all the time. It could be the Terror Force thing or whatever. I make pokes and fun of myself, but I do not go around looking for fights. And when I'm having a debate with someone politically, that's what I want it to do. If they get pissed off and they want to make a fight about it, because I said, for whatever reason, I prefer this course of government as opposed to this, and this is my preferred way of economic policy, and all of a sudden that someone's like, you fucking stand up and defend yourself for that. I'd be like, whoa, we're Americans. We're supposed to be able to debate. Are words violence? Heck yeah, sometimes. But be able to have that weapon refined, whether it's written or speaking aloud, so that you can come back and dominate in the argument versus having to revert to fist. But both are necessary at certain points. Everything's proportional, right?
Yeah.
There's a song called Remedy, and the remedy is you run in your mouth like you've never been punched in your mouth. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
That wasn't directed at you, Tap.
No, it could be. It could be at some of these times in here. Well, no, because there is that thing is because this is the viewpoint I have, but for many people, there's just certain things you don't talk about, whether it's like a regional thing or culture or that sort of thing. There's just certain stuff you don't speak of, or you get punched. Yeah, that's just how it is, and it is a thing in America. So it's regional differences. I'm sure someone's listening to me going, nope, nope, there's a line tap. So no, I hear you, Bishop. I think it's good to be aware of who you're around and have situational awareness. I can come into Punch Bowl and say my counterpiece because this is family, and I, may get upset in the moment or whatnot, but it's gonna be fine. But I also don't go into like, well, I want to get a mic in Mario's state room, but I don't go in there and be like, I don't like people that live in Dubai because like I have nothing to stand on. I'm gonna get my butt kicked. That's not my family. So nah, that's how I see it.
I
Tap, I
have on
think
the
you're describing fighting words, right? Them's fighting words. And I can't help but remember Kenny Rogers' classic, The Coward of the County, and like what it says to this conversation, right? Because in that song, right, like you hear this message that, you don't have to fight to be a man. And then at the end, right, of course, like sometimes you have to fight to be a man. But what I'm impressed with is that I think the song points at there are moments where you should fight. You should go to blows. And in the song, right, notice it's that a woman has been attacked by the local criminals. And that is a moment where the son disagrees with the father and says, this I must fight for. And at least if we have some scale, and I feel like it should be action, right? Because fighting words, I live somewhere where almost everything could be fighting words. It don't matter. Like you say some random shit and some old boys like, well, goddamn, and they want to throw down with you immediately. You never know what the tripwire is. So it's at least a good conversation to have.
It makes me want to become like the joking around. I want to become really good at like martial arts somethings and just I'm just picturing like a TV show where a guy goes around debating people until they get pissed off and want to fight him and he's like unassuming and then they fight him and he kicks their ass like some Brazilian jiu-jitsu or whatever and then like he sits them back down, gets them a water, lets them cool down like after everyone's like done catching their breath and then calmly continues the debate right from where he was at and makes the person continue. He's like, "Now you wanted to fight earlier because you were wrong, and we can do that again, and I'll kick your ass again. But otherwise, defend your point, sir. And if you need a bag of ice that looks bad, let me know."
Did you say Virginian Jiu-Jitsu?
No, but now that's a thing.
Seems fair.
Virginia's for lovers. There's some sort of play on that, but I won't damage the punch bowl's ears with all those jokes.
Thank you. Connecticut still sucks.
Tell everybody why, Chad. You said Redbone from Connecticut?
Yeah, my wife's from Connecticut.
She's from some of the most blue parts of Connecticut. Fair.
Mike Scheck. She lived there as a pigtailed girl before she became a Bressler's ice cream girl, and then she ended up back in Philly or some shit. And then she was a national champion dancer, and she traveled most of her youth doing that and being the Bressler ice cream girl, whatever,
Chad married well.
I guess. Now she's mean as shit and stuff. I can hear her in the garage right now yelling at somebody about the Republican Party. I don't know what's going on. But I hate Connecticut because they all moved into my gated neighborhood. I have 90 homes on the waterway. Beautiful. I was the third house in here. And somewhere or another in Connecticut, there's a fucking billboard that says, "Come down here and be an asshole." So they all came down here. We have a gated community, and I had $6,700 in fines from my HOA, and the new president said, "Why are you not doing anything about your fines?" I said, "Because you're all going to die before me. Do you think you're really putting a lease on my house? You're all."
But see, that's what Rose is saying is if you let us, those of us whom are of maybe the wrong persuasion politically and rights,
No, Mike. They all claim they're Republicans. They ride around with Trump hats on and shit. They're just fucking terrible
yeah,
people.
I have a lot of those in my local Republican Party that I'm working to get rid of. Because just because you put the red hot hat on in the past 8 years doesn't make you a Republican. The Republican Party in this state has devolved to just another wing of the Democrat Party, I think. Because if you move so far left, everybody can have claim to the right, and that my only reason for not leaving Connecticut is my family and my mother-in-law who lost her husband recently and doesn't have a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of, needs me here, and she ain't moving anytime soon, and she's gonna have to come with me. So that's why I haven't left yet. So I'm working on finding the best location in Florida and the best job in Florida for me to be able to assist in her moving down here.
Mike, let me make this clear. And I'm sorry, Pio, I see your hand up. I don't want to keep jumping in front. But Mike, I need to make this clear. Are you listening?
Yep, I'm always listening. I listen to.
This has nothing to do with Republican Party. They are terrible people. They breed terrible people. They're people on the entire inside of their body. Their cellular makeup is terrible, terrible, terrible people. They could be Democrats, they could be Republicans, they could be Catholics, they could be Jews. I don't care. But if they come from Connecticut, they're terrible people. I married a terrible person that I love, but she can kill you, be mean. She's very, very mean. And at the same time, there's aspects I love about her. She has a perfect ass, and there's that, and that what makes men stupid. Women, I hope you're paying attention. We're just dumb, but she has a phenomenal ass. When she smiles, it's great, but the rest of the soul, granted, she moved out of there young, so we were able to save her. But I need you to hear me. This is not political, Mike. I appreciate you're a Republican. I do. But you are terrible fucking people.
Rose, comment.
I like. I'll just stick to the fact that his wife has a nice ass, and that kind of represents Connecticut well. So Connecticut women have nice asses. We'll go with that.
I can't wait to see the episode description Samuel writes for today, and the play is on Connecticut.
Yeah, see, I'm not an ass man, Chad. I'm a tit man, and yeah, that's what got me.
I'm a pulse man.
But I realize it's close. I realize it's close to closing all, but everyone buckle back up and calm down.
Connecticut sucks.
Check out the Connecticut Sucks t-shirt at the punchbowl.space in our merch shop. It's not actually there. I just wanted you to click around.
Oh,
I got a shirt for you. Why be a Connecticut when you can be a South Kakalaki or you can be a Texan? That's a t-shirt.
I'll get the Connecticut Sucks t-shirts printed, and we'll put them on there.
All right, I'm going to give Chad a little bit of advice. So, if you notice, the people from Connecticut, they could be very condescending, and they try to intimidate you and bully you to get what they want. And the only way to match that is to out-bully them and be twice as condescending to them. Otherwise, they will unmercifully tear you apart into shreds because they view you as weak. So never back down to somebody from Connecticut, ever. You must understand that. So in spaces, lots of times I get told that I'm a little condescending with the way I speak sometimes when I feel a certain way. That's part of my Connecticut coming out. So when I feel something strongly, I stick to it and I don't back down. That's a trait of someone from Connecticut. Mike is actually a little bit more mellow than I am. So my advice to you, anybody who comes from Connecticut, they will back down as long as they see that you're the alpha. But you must out alpha them at all times to get them to go your way.
Yeah, I'm
You
talking
know,
Should be
it's
fun.
That's
it's
condescending. Gross.
it's important to remember that places like Connecticut were settled and colonized by the biggest assholes in England. Like they were the people who were like the most annoying. They were so religious that everybody in England was like, "Yes, please go live in the woods wherever the hell that is across the ocean because you're driving us fucking batty." And so all those states, Rhode Island was total religious nut cases, right? Look them up. Connecticut, no different. Massachusetts, same thing. Loony people, loony, and you still see it in their character.
Yes, Massachusetts though has cornered the market on assholes. I will say that. You
No, Connecticut,
No, it's Massachusetts.
Connecticut.
Buddy from Massachusetts, they're even bigger. If we can recognize as nutmeggers that they're assholes in Massachusetts, then they are definitely assholes.
No, no, no. The biggest are people from New Jersey. I have them as coworkers. I deal with them every day. It seems to be 90% of the people across my sample. It's the New Jersey people. All right. We picked on Connecticut a lot this time, but I'm telling you, in my new American Tap for Nerd empire, Connecticut survives. New Jersey is
All
subjugated.
right, I won't.
Yeah,
I won't argue with that. My whole
I
family's
can
from
get,
Jersey.
yeah, Jersey sucks. I'm not going to argue with that
oh,
either. But
I'm glad the Punch Bowl was able to find
New
consensus.
Jersey
eh,
sucks. It smells too.
hey, Mike, you're projecting. Your state still is terrible.
Yeah, we're one step above probably New Jersey, but yeah,
Not half a step. You're close there, just different. You're projecting so that you're not completely terrible. I understand that, Mike. Consider this an online hook I'm giving you, but just understand your entire state.
That hand was a little low.
Yeah, I'm an ass tapper, girl or boy, I don't care. Good game for everybody.
I mean, it looks like more like a cup than a tap, but whatever.
I have broken fingers.
Oh, okay. Just rested there for a couple seconds. Anyway, oh, we should Punch Bowl. We should put something in the nest that's Punch Bowl related, for the recording. I don't know if we got a merch link or something.
The
But I
blue
like,
versus the gray. What? What are we doing here? Damn Yankees. What are we doing?
why be a Connecticut when you can be anything below the Mason-Dixon line? That's a t-shirt. Make it happen.
See, I told you we're back to the Mason-Dixon line, dang it.
It's like
In my
volleyball. You
world,
got to have parameters. Sorry, Piot.
yeah, in my world, anything north of I-10 is Yankee territory. I mean, and that's just because of geography. But then my uncle lives in Wills Point, I think, and that is just south of 20. So he amended that anything north of I-20 is Yankee territory. So just saying.
if you want to see Connecticut and you're in Texas, just go to Austin.
Boy, ain't that the truth. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I try. When I found, well, I use the toll road to go around also. I ain't like going through it anymore. So yeah, that toll road's great. Plus it's 80, 85 miles an hour, and that's my F-350 diesel. To all you people with the feelings on your shoulders, yes, I drive one, and it gets its best fuel economy right at 85. So that's why I drive that fast, and I tell the cop that too. I'm saving the planet, doing the least amount of carbon footprint because 85 is the sweet spot in fuel economy.
I told Tap that I was going to uh, put in spaces every time I'm in something invented in Connecticut. And in 1901, the first speed limits were invented in Connecticut.
Holy crap, Mike. Before you get into that, just stop it. Everybody, if you want to support, no matter how fast you drive or wherever you live, go up to the nest right now and click one of those links, buy some merch, support the Punch Bowl, right? Let's have more conversations like these. Quote, tweet the space, repost the space, whatever we're calling it now. even though it's coming to a close, go ahead and advertise this is what you do in the mornings, because we'll be back here tomorrow, right? Do something good no matter where you live. Also,
Thanks.
Mike, I love you. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I just was afraid you were going to talk about speed limits for like 12 minutes.
Thank you, Samuel. And basically, the reason we're putting it in the Jumbotron is for when people go back and watch the Rumble and the Spotify recording, we want them to see something Punchbowl related in that recording the entire 2 hours rather than someone being like, here's my space for the other night. And it's like another brand or whatnot. That's happened a couple times. So that's why I'm pumping it up there and made it like a big deal. And I know I'm making sausage in front of the team, and I'll try to stop doing that.
Chad, when you having the old the Chris character on for your show?
The what character?
Chris, Harry Sisson's buddy.
As soon as he gets back to me, he's busy telling everybody how much Trump sucks and having full-on strokes in his car with his phone. I don't know. I keep going on his thing and saying, "Are we going to debate or what?" I mean, let's go. I'm going to
All right, so
Atlanta in a couple weeks. So I'm going to see if he wants to meet up for lunch.
what's your schedule today so we can catch some of your
Well,
info?
I'm stoked. You all know Carice comes into the Punchbowl often. He's in spaces. He's an African American county councilman, and he's hyper local. He just hit me up and said he's off today, so I've been trying to get him on the show to give an idea of how he's moved himself around and through the Republican Party in his local area and became a councilman, which is phenomenal. So we're going to talk about that, and then, like I said, we're going to open it up to the space, and we're going to kind of do Make It Monday and let people ask questions and bring up what they want to talk about and see if we can't get some debate going. I think I'm going to put most of the show towards the space concept so that people can get involved, and we'll leave Carice on there for perspective to be able to talk to him, because he has a pretty cool story and how he just got involved in the Republican Party and ended up then becoming a councilman. So it's good. I love Carice, and he's not famous or nothing, but he's famous he gets around the spaces a lot, and his message is legit. So from there, we're gonna then go to the space and see what y'all think and what y'all have to say. It's uncensored, so let it fly.
A timeline, Chad. What time?
2 p.m.
Eastern
Standard Time in the year of our Lord, below the Mason-Dixon line.
All right. Well, that's the wrap for today. I knew if we started speaking about Maui, the conversation would get passionate. It could have taken multiple directions. But still have faith in the Red Cross. My opinion. We don't got anything else out there at this point. Go ahead, Rose.
Oh, I just would like to finish with a little something that I found alarming when I looked at my friends Jeff and Jeff's follower numbers, who are your co-hosts here in Punchbowl. I'm alarmed that they have been co-hosting in this space this long, and their follower count is this low, which is over 1,000. So I would encourage everybody, please, they work for us and they do such a great job managing this space every day for us. Make sure that you reach out and do a retweet with their handles and get other patriots to follow them, and so that their message gets out. They're good men, and I am very leery of people. So for me to actually reach out and say good words about them, they are truly magnificent people. So let's do our part and make sure that we're following them if we haven't already. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Rose.
And if you're not following me, fuck you.
Mike T, get your notebook out, write it down. We got to go.
All right. See you later, guys.
it down. We got to go.
All right. See you later, guys.